Get ready for our final guest of the show. She is a songwriter, DJ, and artist who was on the cover of Forbes 30 Under 30 music issue. Please give it up for the bass queen, Blu DeTiger!
Hey guys, how are you? How are you? Hey girls, what's up?
Hey!
Welcome to this cozy couch.
Hey gang, this is so cool.
Thank you.
Feels really like talk show vibes.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here
Thanks so much for having me.
in New York, your hometown. This is so perfect.
It's the best city in the world.
So you're a trailblazer, not just as an independent music, but also as a businesswoman. We know about your Forbes 30 Under 30 issue.
Thanks, guys.
Incredible.
Thanks for shouting that out.
Of course. You've spearheaded so many amazing brand partnerships, and many of the artists here would love to learn about more of what you do and do the same thing as their careers continue to grow. So we're excited to learn more about your journey.
Sick. I'm here to spill all the secrets.
Yes. What was the first partnership you had, and how did you make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in high school. I mean, I started playing bass when I was 7, so I was, doing it for a long time. But I remember, I guess in high school when I was about 17 or 18, I started to get, some free product in exchange for like some Instagram love. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of the start of me sort of realizing that I could collaborate with brands and work with brands. So I remember I got like a Diesel hoodie, and I had to like post something on Instagram, and I thought I was like the coolest person in the world. I was like, guys, free Diesel hoodie, this is awesome. And then honestly, like I started working with Fender when I was 17, and they sent me a bass, a free bass for the first time, and then I DJ'd an event for them, like more like of a corporate event for the launch of like their new acoustic guitar, and that was like the first sort of like corporate brand thing I'd done, and I was like, okay. I'm making it, guys.
Now, do you normally seek out these opportunities, or do they come to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a mix. Usually, they're kind of coming in through different members of my team, whether it's, management or an agent, or I work with other, like, brand partnership people. Sometimes they're just directly sent to me, and people just seek me out through, like, Instagram or email or something. But sometimes, if there's a company I really want to work with or something that, I want to make it happen, I do it myself. Or like I have an idea, then we'll find the contacts and go for it.
Oh yeah, and can you talk a little bit about the difference between what an Instagram collab / like ad compared to like a partnership? Like what's the difference between those two?
Yeah, so, an Instagram post or, the things where you see like hashtag ad or like a paid partnership, that's usually like, kind of one-off, one time. Hey, can you shout out our brand or our product on Instagram, probably for a fee or like free stuff. So it's kind of like a one and done thing, and then a more long-term partnership is something that you really work on the brand with, something that takes multiple months, maybe a year, and it's more of like, real collaboration and more involvement, I would say.
Cool stuff.
That's
Cool
awesome.
stuff,
Yeah, you don't want your feed to be full of Instagram ads either. So how do you balance that with your creative vision? Like, how do you ensure a partnership aligns with who you are and what you do as an artist?
Definitely, yeah. There's a few things I look at. The first thing is whether, I like the brand and I use it, and something that, aligns with my personal things, whatever, personal views and my personality and everything. And also, like, if their mission statement aligns with mine, like, are they inspiring, are they empowering, are they lifting people up? So that's kind of like the first thing. And then, what are the deliverables? What's the timeline like? What's my schedule? Can I do a good job? Do I have the mental and physical capacity to do it and put my best foot forward? And then the third thing is kind of like, the financial aspect, and does the financial make sense for me and align with what they're asking me to do.
For sure.
Okay, I can't lie. I am staring at this beautiful bass guitar in front of me.
Gosh, so pretty, right?
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you have this iconic Fender Player Plus jazz bass, and you were the first woman and youngest bassist to get a Fender signature model. Can we give a round of applause for that? That's so cool.
They're really
Pretty
gassing me
iconic.
up here. They're really shouting me out. Thanks, guys.
Of Oh, you just all the shout outs. Can you tell us like the story of how that came to be? That beautiful bass guitar.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, you know, Fender sent me my first jazz bass when I was 17, and I freaked out. I was like crying. I was like, this is so cool, guys. Like, this iconic company, you know, recognized me in my playing, and I was just freaking out. And they literally just like cold emailed me. I think they saw some videos of me, you know, playing on Instagram, and you know, that's why it's really important to, you know, show your passion and get out there and stuff. And yeah, they emailed me, and I just kept a close relationship with them since then, and I started to do a lot more work with them as I started to go on tour. You know, they would send me amps and things for tour, and then, you know, during the pandemic, I started posting a lot on TikTok. You guys know TikTok, right?
What?
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I started posting a lot on TikTok, you know, videos of me playing, you know, Fender basses, and I was getting a lot of messages that were like, you know, you've inspired me to pick up the bass, and especially younger people, and especially women actually, were really inspired by, I guess, these videos of me playing. And every time I would get a message, I would like screenshot it, and I would send it to the people at Fender, and I'd be like, look, this is like, we're doing something here, we're kind of creating a movement, people want to start playing, and yeah, and they were obviously, you know, really stoked by that, and I would always recommend Fender basses because that was what I played and what I actually really liked and what I really enjoyed. So that was kind of a big thing, and then, you know, I did another one of their campaigns, like their Player Plus campaign, and I think they just really saw that I cared and was like really passionate about bass and the company. Like I truly like think it's the best company for guitars and basses and the most iconic. So I think they just saw like my passion for it, and then they were like, yeah, we want to like do this bass with you, and that's like true bucket list. Yeah. Like actual tears. I was so excited because like as a player, I feel like that's such a, it's just a really big honor and a really big responsibility, and I was just so excited. Like I'm still so like stoked and just grateful that I got the opportunity to do that.
So cool. And now what did you learn from that process of co-designing this signature instrument, and from a creative perspective, from a professional perspective, and also why did you choose to go with like a jazz bass guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much. I think the first thing was just like the technical aspect of, you know, making an instrument. Like I got to go to the factory, and that's a really rare opportunity. Not many people get to do that. I got to see like how it gets made, all the people working behind the scenes. I was like hammering some stuff myself just to like get a taste what it felt. Yeah, of course, you know, I'm out here. Just getting my hands dirty, and so that was really cool. Like I know so much more about the intricacies of the actual instrument than I did before. And then just like, I think like as a businesswoman and as a creative and like a collaborator, you know, working with a big team. And I was really involved in, you know, from start to finish, of course, and then also, you know, the social media campaign and the marketing campaign, I was really involved in that. Like seriously, just because I really cared about it and I wanted it to do well. And for people to like actually play it and see it and use it. So I just, was really in there making sure the whole thing went well.
And then speaking of you being like super involved, how did you advocate for yourself and your vision throughout that whole process? And how can other artists do the same to ensure their voices are heard?
Yeah, really good question. I think like for me, I think it's really important as an artist to really understand like what you want, like your goals and your intentions, like for your career as a whole, like before you kind of get into any sort of like partnership or anything. Like I think as your team gets bigger and you start adding more people around you that are kind of giving you advice, and maybe sometimes it's like noise that you're trying to like, you know, you want to make sure that you personally are really like staying true to yourself and your personal goals and your intentions, and then you can properly express that to the people around you and make sure everyone's kind of on the same page with you. I think that's like the most important. So yeah, through the Fender process, I was like, I know exactly what I want. I don't want anyone to like, you know, like steer me in a wrong way, or I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm really, really happy with it. And that started from me really being like, okay, this is exactly what I want, and then telling everyone around me like, this is exactly what I want, and being kind of like strong in that, and then going from there.
I love that. It's really like a true partnership between you and the company, which I think is
Definitely.
what makes the magic. I also wanted to ask, how do you think about the products when they're in that stage where they're still being tested and developed? What do you think about putting them on the market for your audience? Like, is that in the back of your mind? How many people would play this bass or enjoy the features that you do?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely didn't know, at the time how it was going to be received or anything, but I think that's, another thing I learned throughout the whole process. Like, when I was doing this, I wanted to make sure that, I was making my dream bass and something that I was really happy with and something I wanted to play, but also that other people wanted to play, and just, striking that balance between the two. And that comes down to, like all the intricacies that, I'll explain later, but yeah.
I love that. Can you tell us about some examples of brand partnerships you've had? We know the nail polish one with Uber and Stanley and all the different brands. Do you want to shout out a few that are your favorite?
Yeah, I recently did one with Uber, which I thought was funny because I just thought it was like, it's a funny story, but basically, so I'm from New York, right, guys? So I don't have my driver's license. Like, I cannot drive for the life of me. Like, I literally, like, it's like kind of a problem because I'm in LA a lot and I just like, I can't do it. Anyways, I failed 3 times, right? And I kept posting, about my journey of like failing my driver's license, and it kind of became a funny thing within my fandom and community, that like Blu can't drive, right? So Uber kind of saw that, these kind of like funny videos, and they were doing a campaign about how, if you fail your driver's test, you can get free Uber rides, and this whole campaign about that. And I was like, this is perfect for me. This makes so much sense. And I think that was just kind of a cool collaboration because it came from like a genuine, authentic thing. Like, I'm literally the Uber queen. Like, I Uber everywhere. My points are insane. Like, Uber one, like for real. So
Do you like go to the DMV and they're like, we gotta run an ride?
No, literally, I went to the same DMV 3 times, and like the girl, like, she knows me by now, and she was like, again, like, I'm so sorry. Like, she felt so bad. She was like, I hope you get it this time. Like, she felt bad. Like, it was a whole thing, but whatever. Anyways, but I think it was cool that it came from like a genuine thing, and like they saw it and were like, oh, this makes sense. Like, Blu's audience is kind of already hip to this story about her, and yeah, I thought it was funny. So that was a cool one.
That's awesome. Very organic. And where do you see future partnerships going in your brand and your artistry in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, like, I just want to work with brands that help uplift my music. I know we were talking a lot about, the Fender one, obviously. But, like, I did something with Bose, or I was working with Bose for a long time, actually. I still work with them. But that's an example of a company that is uplifting my music because, I was in their campaign. I use their headphones all the time. I use their headphones to DJ, wear them on the plane. And then I was in their campaign, and they also licensed my song for the campaign. So that's like an example of a brand partnership that was really uplifting my music and wasn't really just happening in a vacuum. And I think that's really important when you're deciphering also like what is ultimately helping your artistry expand and get your music out there more. So that's kind of what I'm looking at these days.
That's awesome. And going back to the bass.
You love the bass.
I love the
You're the bass queen over here. Do you play?
Oh, stop it.
Do you play?
I'm learning. I have a beautiful little Blu
You might have to try it later.
Don't tell me that, girl.
No, you might have to.
Okay, well, going back to the bass, we would love for you to show us firsthand a little demo and talk about the details of
I'll talk about the
this
details.
bass when you like are playing it, and maybe you can be like, oh my goodness, I forgot I added this super cool feature that adds this fun reverb or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Does anyone here play bass or guitar? Nice. Yes. Wait, should I go now?
Yeah.
Oh, now? Okay, we're ready. Okay.
You even got the sparkly strap to match. I love this.
Is that bedazzled? Is it bedazzled?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, girl.
That's so fun. Sparkle and shine.
Yeah, of course, it's got to have the sparkle. This is another fun little, this is me. Yeah.
Let's go, Logan.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you
That's
guys can
so
see
neat.
that. That's a little, my signature up there,
Now, do you usually look for sparkles in your instruments?
Yeah, when I was doing this, that's kind of a funny story too. When I was doing this, like I went into the Fender, headquarters,
Yeah.
And I was like, I want it to be like blue burst, like sparkle.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we have these 10 types of sparkles and these 50 shades of blue. And I was like looking through all of them, and they all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
But I was like that one, and like that was it. So yeah.
Wait,
but
what-
we made sure the shade was, it's like a custom shade that no other bass has. So
Wow.
yeah, the blue
What-
shade. Yeah.
What drew you to that specific shade, though? Is it like a
Dude,
lake
it's like-
growing up that it brought back a
Dude,
memory,
it's,
or just
it's
the
a
vibes?
feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like an energy. You just kind of, I just feel it. It makes me feel like a rock star. And also like a lot of, thank you. I hadn't really seen this color a lot as well.
No.
I wanted to make something that you couldn't really get, and I've never seen like a blue burst
No.
sparkle situation.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
I'm ready.
But yeah, so this is the bass. Basically, when I started this process, as I was saying, I was like, I wanted to make my dream bass, and also something I wasn't really seeing in the market. And to me, that was like a really lightweight bass that was good for touring. Like I've been touring since I was 17, 18, and I've had so many back problems. I'm going to acupuncture. I'm going to massage. Like it's getting out of hand, guys. So this is the lightest weight bass Fender's ever made. We made sure that it was really good for touring. So there's like a chambering of the ash, which means they basically put like holes in the wood to take some of the weight out without compromising the sound and any like frequency. So it really still has like all the body and everything you kind of need in it. And then thanks guys, just getting started. And then obviously like aesthetically, I wanted to make a bass that like really made me feel awesome on stage. Like really made me feel like a rock star, and like I could really like I was shining, and the bass really shines. Also like the mirror, you can kind of like check your makeup and stuff. It's kind of cool. Take selfies on it, whatever. So that was kind of where like the color and the sparkle came from. And then it has a bunch of like built-in EQ. I don't know how many people really know about like the intricacies of how basses and guitars are made, but we got like a single coil pickup here, and then we got these two single coil pickups wound together to make a humbucker. Basically, a humbucker pickup has a little bit more like drive, a little bit more edge to it, I would say. So I've been using this a lot. Which is kind of like, it just gives a little bit extra punch. And then without it, kind of hear the difference. And then it basically has everything else in it, so you don't really need to rely on pedals or anything. You can kind of like boost the treble, you can boost the bass, you can boost the mids. You can kind of like get any sort of tone you want out of it. And it's also really nice for, like when I'm playing, I do a lot of like bass chords. A little, yeah, it's my girl over here. So it kind of has that like extra punch and mid-range that a lot of just normal jazz basses or P basses can't really get. And then it's obviously also, you guys can't feel it from over there, but like the neck shape makes it really, really easy to play. So you don't really have any like limitations on the instrument. I want it to just kind of feel like almost like an extension of your body, like your extra limb or something. Just like a really easy way to express yourself freely. That's kind of where the little things came from.
Do you feel like if a wizard walked in the room and turned you into a bass guitar, it would be that one?
No, 100%. Like
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Like it's like me to a T right now. Like, yeah, and like jazz basses in general are better, for slap. And I come from, funk bass playing, and I wanted a bass that could really get the slap tone. So yeah,
Woo!
that's. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Just improvise. I don't know. And now we're gonna make her play and try it, and she's gonna tell us it's the best bass she's ever played in her life.
I'll be like, wow.
No, for real.
Oh, for real? Okay.
I mean, right? Do we have time? I don't know. I just made this up. Do we have time?
We'll have to do it backstage.
I think we'll have to do it
Yeah,
backstage,
so-
unfortunately.
She doesn't want. Okay,
Saved by
fine.
the bell.
Sorry, I was really trying to add in some spice.
I love it.
But
But
guys-
it's so cool that it's so versatile and you can get so many
Yeah,
different
very
tones.
versatile and for the season play and for the beginner player. So, yeah,
It'll be awesome for people to experiment and try out different styles as well using that. That'll be so
definitely.
Can we please give Blue a huge round of applause?
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Congratulations on being here and everything you guys got in the future. It's awesome. So.
Thank you.